What's up, fellow Planeteers? I've been getting a lot of questions from my people back up in mainland Florida concerned about the Okeechobee and the algae bloom going on up there. I know me as a guy studying a lot up in algae and an algae scientist that I might have a few answers, and I do. I'd like to sum this up in a nutshell so we can dissolve some of the confusion that's going around. People think that we need to be pumping this algae stuff out of that reservoir as quick as we can because it's not natural for it to be in there. Of course it's not. A reservoir isn't natural, is it? In Florida, we have taken 4/5 of the water that's supposed to naturally flow through the Everglades, which is what you guys call a swamp, which isn't a swamp at all because it's a slow-flowing river system. That water has been vital for a long time, about 9,000 years, for our reef system here in the Florida Keys, the third largest reef on the entire planet Earth. And when we took that water and blocked it up for people to live on, promote tourism and all the different resorts in Orlando, etc., we didn't realize the consequences. It's taken quite a bit of years later, but now we're seeing a lot of metal poisoning in the Everglades because there's not enough water to be filtered out with the plants. So we're seeing a lot of high mercury levels, etc. And our reef is not doing so well. About half of it's dead. And reefs are responsible for 25% of the species who live in the ocean. Trying not to cry when I wonder why people don't care about that. It's not a hippie thing, it's a survival thing, guys. How are we going to eat tuna if tuna doesn't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner? It's just simple math, it's simple science, it's common sense to think about your children. So what's going on with the algae blooms is low regulations by the government and what they're allowing farmers to do with fertilizer runoffs. There aren't enough buffer zones, there aren't thick enough buffer zones. There are basically no regulations in place that allow that fertilizer runoff not to be going straight into that reservoir, or any reservoir that matter. So what happens when you put Miracle-Gro on your lawn? It usually turns a deeper green and grows like crazy. Grows kind of unnatural, doesn't it? That's why they call it Miracle-Gro. Same kind of stuff is going on those farms, runs off into these waters. Algae's gonna do what it's gonna do. Yes, I'm an algae scientist. And yes, I'm saying that we don't have an algae problem. We have a nutrient pollution problem, guys. This is what happens when you feed algae. We fed it to the point where it grew so fast that it's depleting all the oxygen out and killing everything else. Maybe allowing that to be dumped into the ocean may not be the best decision. Surely there's people more highly qualified and getting a bigger paycheck than I am for those kind of answers, but I'm definitely more than happy, I like that word, more than healthy to be of any kind of help that I can be. We need to start doing a little bit more work with our farmers, getting FWC involved with agriculture, just in regards for our buffer systems, and lay down a little bit of a line saying, hey, the fish are more important than the sugar cane, aren't they? How much is Florida's revenue off fish and tourism because of the reef versus sugar cane? Doesn't take a mathematician to wrap your mind around this. Sometimes we just got to take a big enough step out and look at that picture and see, yeah, maybe this is what's going on. I had a lot of people asking me different questions from sites up in Fort Myers. I hope I've answered some of your questions a little bit easier. Feel free to ask any kind of questions through the comments, okay, guys? Try to get them answered. See ya.